Hello, my name is McCoy, and for my project, I decided to focus on virtual reality. I've always been interested in virtual reality because I've always seen the technology as the future of the gaming industry. It was not until more recently that I started to learn about all the different industries that could and do benefit from VR. That is why I decided to focus on virtual reality within the tourism industry. However, through my research process, I decided to change my topic slightly to personalized tourism, and I'll explain that further later in the presentation. And finally, at the end of my project, I also learned of a way that virtual reality can also aid retail and online shopping. First, I would like to dive into a couple of case studies to showcase some cool ways that VR is being used in the tourism industry. The first case study that I would like to dive into is a project titled Viz Comes True. This is my favorite case study that I've researched because it is all about exactly what I wanted my original research to be. The goal of Project Viz Comes True is to create a virtual reality tour of the island of Vis, which is the farthest inhabited Croatian island off of the mainland. For this project, they use an Oculus Rift and a PC to present the virtual tour during an exhibition. Here on the screen, you can see some of the original photos of the island of Vis and then what Vis looks like in virtual reality. The case study goes more in depth about how the virtual tour was created and a lot of design choices that were made to fit for their target audience of people with little to no virtual reality experience. The next case study that I'd like to dive into is titled Virtual Reality and Modern Tourism. This case study is a bit more wordy and focuses on recent trends of virtual reality and how virtual reality can help to meet the needs of tourists. Three main concepts are covered, including future tourism planning, technology-based marketing of tourism destinations, and virtual reality potential in changing consumer requirements. This case study was great for obtaining a better understanding of how VR has changed tourism and the hospitality industry. For my project, I wanted to create virtual travel opportunities for people who are unable to travel. My grandmother is my inspiration for this as she is currently living in a nursing home. The goal is to allow people who are unable to travel an opportunity to visit dream destinations that they do not have the opportunity to travel to with the use of VR. However, my project goal changed slightly throughout my research, as I will explain in a second. Throughout my research of case studies and how virtual reality is being currently used within the tourism industry, I realized that there are plenty of resources currently available that could be used for my project goal. I felt as though I wouldn't be creating anything new or exploring new areas of VR. Therefore, I changed my project slightly from virtual travel opportunities to personalized virtual travel opportunities. This slight change made a huge difference in the end goal of my project. So what does this mean? If my grandma wants to virtually visit Paris, there are resources currently available to do that for her. But what if she wants to see my college house? Or how I've decorated my room? How do I give her an opportunity to virtually travel to much more personalized places? The answer? NVIDIA NGP Instant Neural Radiance Fields. Sounds simple enough, right? Wrong, but it can be. I feel as though the best way to demonstrate how these neural radiance fields work is to just show you the process. So I'm going to get that all set up and then I'll demonstrate. Now, before I start, I would like to state that there are a plethora of different programs I had to download and code to sift through to get all of this working. Some of these programs include Visual Studio, CUDA Toolkit, Python, CMake, CallMap, Anaconda, and NVIDIA Instant NGP to name a few. Luckily, there is a GitHub available to help you work through all of this, but it's still a lot to handle if you're not too familiar with coding. So let's get started. We'll start with our images of this fox that we had a practice run on to show you how this works. So we have 30 some odd pictures, 2D images of this fox here that we are going to create a VR scene out of. And I'll just show you through. This is just a bunch of examples of 2D pictures that were taken of this fox that, as I said, we will turn into a 3D VR scene. So the first thing that we have to do with all these images, and this is what we got Anaconda for, is Anaconda links us to Python. It's just it's a way to work with Python. And we will be using the callMap function to turn this into a JSON file, which we can then plug in to the NVIDIA Instant NGP, which will start to learn and work through to create our VR scene. So luckily I already did this because this takes a couple minutes to work through, and it will give us this JSON file right here. So we take this JSON file. I have to get multiple windows open here. That's Anaconda, sorry about that. And we will open instance ngp. And this is instant ngp. Not a lot to look at, but we take our JSON file, which essentially just linked all of those pictures together into one file. As soon as I plug it in, you will see the program starts to learn and work through all the images to create our 3D scene. It's actually a pretty cool process to watch. As soon as I drop this in here, which is just a JSON file I have here, you will see it begin to work. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can get a bit of an idea. So it is teaching itself currently. This is the line. And once it's to the bottom and stops moving a lot, you know you'll have your render basically complete. You can see it doesn't look too good right now, but it's still running through it. It's still training itself. And even while it's doing this, I can still move us around like it's a VR scene. We took all those 2D images and made it 3D. And it's still training, as you can see here. It's actually going pretty fast. And in a matter of minutes, we will have a 3D scene. And then, as you can see over here, you can also connect this to a VR or AR headset, and you can look at this through a headset as well. And it won't get too much better from here. This is kind of where it's at. The quality of the images weren't the best, but you can zoom in, look all around it, zoom out, and this is what it created from those 2D images that we took. And yeah, this is about the final product, and I will see you guys in just a second. These neural radiance fields give us the opportunity to take 2D images and turn them into 3D VR scenes for personalized tourism. I even think this technology could help with retail and online shopping, allowing for customers to get a good 3D view of the object that they wish to purchase. So what's next? The next steps for my research would be to make this technology more accessible for the public and people who do not know how to code. The only current people who are really able to use this technology well have to have a very strong understanding of coding and a computer that is powerful enough to process these 3D scenes. Turning this technology into an easy-to-use app for everyone to use and create 3D scenes from 2D images would be groundbreaking and would get everyone the chance at some personalized travel opportunities. Thank you.